Three, I'm Gene.
And I'm Zane.
And welcome to Hanging with Uncles.
How's it going, man?
Man, it's going pretty good.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, before we get into it, though, please hit the like button.
And subscribe.
Exactly that. And hit the notification bell whenever you want to see us go live in the future or whenever we post new content. Yes. It's time. Hanging with Uncle. It's been a week. It's been a week. I'm glad you made it. It's Friday. Pop a cork. Get a bottle, something, relax, and chill.
I gotta say, man, I love my cat, but sometimes that dude just won't let me sleep, man.
Yes,
and
about last week.
It's like I'll be sound asleep, right? And all of a sudden I'll feel this cold, wet nose on my nose, and I'm like, waking up, like, what do you want? And he'd be like, okay, cool, you're up, pet me.
Yeah, I was on the way over, and you sent me a text, you're like, bro, I am in bed.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? He's like, I am in bed. I am tired. I'm like, okay, it's cool. We'll hang out at home. We'll miss a week. I hope everyone had a good break from us. I mean, who wants a break from us, though?
Right.
We're awesome.
So, but before we jump into it, man, a couple of things. I know, just from the Lakers Suns kind of thing here.
Okay.
Congratulations to Monty Williams getting hired by the Pistons.
Absolutely. Record-breaking deal. I can't remember the numbers, but it's a lot of numbers.
Yeah.
That's for sure. What was like 77 mil?
And there's like 8 players involved in the connection with Monty Williams and Detroit. I think I don't know, like maybe some
he's gonna be able to
Camden McHale or maybe wind up there or
who knows?
or
he's gonna be able to build up a team there. I don't think DeAndre Ayton would follow along because they've had a bad relationship. But I mean, I think he can build that team for sure. They have a young team. Yeah. They played well last year. I mean, they've got bright sides and dark sides, but with Monty at the helm, I think that team can build. Not necessarily saying they're going to make the playoffs next year, but they're definitely going to be able to build, get more opportunities to bring more things to the table that Monty needs. 5-year deal, I think it was. And there'll be something within the next 2 years. Easy.
Phoenix made a deal that I believe secures their race to the bottom.
You think so? You think Frank Vogel won't do anything?
Oh man, don't you remember how badly I talked about him when he was the Lakers head coach?
Was it Vogel head coach or was it LeBron head coach?
I know it was LeBron and AD's first year together, but what did he do with that nucleus afterwards? He let half the team go, brought in a bunch of geriatrics to play. I mean, come on.
I think it's a good move because it's defense focused. He's a defensive minded coach. We have not had a defense presence in Phoenix for a very long time. Well, actually, I would say yes, the last few years we've had when we had McHale, but when we don't now, we definitely need that. We don't need scoring. We obviously showed that with Booker and KD putting it up. I'm not saying we need that every night. What I'm saying is if we had guys who had solid defense and average scoring a night and were able to score, we would be a solid team, a very solid team, a contender style team. And even then we could have a third scorer. If Ayton's still there, he could be that. But under a defensive minded team, I don't think Ayton would thrive. I think we are going to probably get something for him. There are free agent options out there. Frank VanVleet is a free agent. I've been saying that. He's a free agent.
I think a good fit at the 4 position for Phoenix, if they could get him away from New Orleans, would be Brandon Ingram.
Man, fucking get me on that train. I love Brandon Ingram.
Yeah.
And it's not even from his recent performances. I liked him when he was a Laker.
Yeah.
Man, he would have been sick here early. If he didn't go to the Pelicans, he was here in Phoenix. Could you imagine how Booker and him would be right now? Holy fuck. Man, I was so mad that we didn't get Ingram when he had the opportunity.
We'll see what off-season moves that Phoenix makes.
We've got a bunch of options.
But, for sure you're going to have Chris Paul gone.
That's what I want.
For sure you're going to have DA gone.
But, that's the deal. We need replacements for... even though it feels like we're trying to upgrade, We need these players that we're bringing in for these guys to be able to do exactly what they were able to do and then some. I need a big who can score and play defense at the rim. I need a guard who can play basketball and not get injured. That's kind of, we need something like that. So I hope there's some kind of move. My fantasy world is Damian Lillard, but that's a long shot to the stars. That's why I say it's my fantasy world. I would lose my mind. I will go live on Maine, on Hanging with Uncle that morning if it happens and lose my shit. Because that would be amazing.
There would have to be a nuclear explosion, I think, to get him out of Portland.
Who's the old owner of the NBA? He would roll over in his grave and come up and stop it. It's not Silver, that's the current. What's his name? Stern, thank you. Stern is rolling if that were to happen. He would come up, no. But that would be so sick. But I think we need a solid guard that does Chris Paul-esque things. Plenty of guards do it. Honestly, Chris Paul is not too special.
Not anymore.
Not anymore, but as a guard of what you need now these days, if we had Ricky Rubio, we have better options. Because he still is kind of injury prone now because he's old, but it's kind of what I'm saying. If we had a facilitating guard, one that doesn't score, do the 15-foot jump fade away all the time, we probably would have better results. I'm just going to say it. A lot of it was pretty bogus play when it came from the others. So Booker and KD played their hearts out. KD tried. He missed a lot. I'm still kind of, where was that from, bro? But Booker played his heart out, obviously. He is the number one player on our team. I know we have Kevin Durant, but Booker is the number one option still.
He is Mr. Valley of the Sun. Definitely.
He is. It's going to be our identity. So they're going to build around them. I'm hoping for it. Vogel can definitely bring a defensive-minded team to to the Phoenix Suns, to the Valley.
I think the kind of defense he's going to bring will be a Matador defense.
You think so?
Oh, yeah. Ole.
We got to see.
The lane's open.
There are plenty of pieces out there. There are plenty of movement. There's plenty of time for any change to happen. So we'll see. Who knows?
Yeah. Anyway.
I think Mikal likes being in Brooklyn. I don't know.
I don't think it's really up to him, though.
But true, obviously, in the past few years. But seeing him go to Detroit would be weird. He really looks good in a Brooklyn uniform. They re-signed him, I think.
I've heard rumor of him going to either Detroit or McHale going to Portland and play with Lillard.
Really? That would be insane.
Yeah.
That would be cool. I'd be for that too, honestly. I mean, even though, I can see that. That would be crazy.
But again, that's just rumor, man. Anyway, League of Legends.
Yes, I have a League of Legends story here. And not necessarily just League of Legends, because it kind of does affect just like anybody. Anybody is being mistreated in the workplace and not being cared for. Because they are on strike. Pro LCS players, which stands for League Championship Series, is here in North America. They represent America. There are North American players. There's players around the world. I've talked about it before on the show. Long story short, these guys are going on strike because of them being mistreated and not necessarily getting the same treatment as other games that are in their space. Not necessarily the MOBA space, which is the style of game that it is, but Riot Games owns League of Legends and Valorant, which is a big game. I'm sure a lot of people who've heard of games or listen to us know, like, oh yeah, Valorant. They don't treat either game the same. They give Valorant all the new everything for their series. Let's try this. Let's do this tournament style. Let's try this. Let's advertise here. Let's do that. Even in between League of Legends Championship Series games, there's Valorant trailers. So the viewership is dying. In 2017, in the finals, estimated average viewership was 600,000 concurrent viewers, and that's a lot, especially when the series goes on for at least 4 to 5 hours. Now, the last final that they had in 2023, the spring final, had a concurrent viewership of 130,000 people. The viewership is dying. And not necessarily because, the game it has its own style of play. You have to like slower play, understand 5-on-5, and that kind of style of esque, which is mainly how Valorant is. But Valorant is fast and its shooter is entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with the advertisement that Valorant gets, the League series gets nothing. There's like advertisements for Amazon Games and Prime and stuff like that for League of Legends stuff, but the series doesn't get any promotion. Players aren't feeling like they're not being treated right, and even the Challenger series, which is the D League, is being in discussion of eliminated, where we can get all of our North American talent into our professional play to go represent us around the international stages, and they're ixnaying it because it's not making enough money. Now, the players are upset about that because that does bring that, one, a lot of people lost their jobs, and two, the people who are North American talent, there's going to be a struggle with finding that and keeping the scene afloat. The scene's been going on. It's one of the oldest, actually. It's one of the first esports, actually, to start. And here in North America is where it started, too. Now, it's not being treated equal at all. So players are going on strike. They're asking for, salaries for Challenger League players. They're asking for better advertisement, Valorant-esque advertisement, and just trying to get League of Legends North American style play back on the map is kind of the deal. And Riot denied it all.
So, just from my perspective, looking at other sports, comparing it, Major League Baseball has expanded. The National Basketball Association has expanded. The National Football League combined two leagues together to make the National Football League.
True.
And has continued to expand.
Yep.
The National Hockey League expands. There's, Vegas played in the Stanley Cup in their inaugural
their first
season.
Year, yeah. Their first
So, just looking at it from a developmental type of a thing, even like I said, the farm clubs in baseball, well, they don't make a lot of money. We're going to shut the farm clubs down. It makes no sense to me, even though I'm not a League of Legends player.
Like, why would you shut down that opportunity?
Just looking at it on par with other professional sports that are going on, it makes no sense to eliminate options.
Right. Especially with the amount of collegiate leagues that are coming up now. There are literally college leagues for League of Legends that are happening right now. Like, where else could you get North American talent from these colleges? Like, get professional college players. They literally do that in the NBA. They do that in every other sport.
And football, and basketball, and baseball.
But they won't do it. They don't open up teams to get the opportunities to have that. They have to go through that particular system, through the Challenger Series, and all the nonsense of however they do it. So if they're playing a collegiate league and a team picks up a player who came from there, that's the team's choice, is the idea. But Riot's eliminating the scene and in general, the minor scene in general, which is cutting off the legs of basically the upper scene that's holding everything together. Like, even those players, the pro players, they're striking. They're not going to go play. So it forces Riot to demand teams, which they have, by the way, to fill rosters. You have to fill rosters before the LCS starts so we can have a show.
Right, you're making a bad business decision.
So then, players from the LCS are talking to Challenger players, collegiate players, saying, don't be a scab. Don't go in and play in our positions, because that's literally what's going to happen, is that you go in it, the viewership continues, and then they're on their merry way. These players are going to lose their jobs, lose whatever, lose their money, everything. They're trying to make sure that there is a stance in this to where Riot Games understands the viewership in North America is terrible and that it needs to get better. And that's literally the players' stance on everything. They want better everything. They get paid and treated because these teams pay for their housing, everything.
Benefits of being a union.
Better benefits, but even with a players' association, they don't have much of a say when the teams have more of a say than them, and then Riot oversees that. There's too much going on in that scenario. If football had an overseer, like a company overseeing them, then like the NFL had Best Buy watching over them or some bullshit. Then Best Buy was like, no, you can't do that. And the NFL was like, damn, you can't do that. That's literally the same scenario they're going through with right now with the LCS. But
that's the benefit of having collective bargaining.
And hopefully at some point there's conversations of stuff like that. But for right now, they didn't expect a high turnout for the strike, but 52 players went into a meeting and discussed what their stance was, and 52 of them agreed to strike. So that's
I hope
52
they
of 60
I hope
slots.
they beat Riot. I hope they beat Riot.
I hope so too, man. I'm not looking forward to what's about to happen because I love the challenge. I love League of Legends. I love the LCS. I love the challenger scene, and I hope that it continues to thrive because I think it's a good deal, especially with having esports being the thing. It needs to be more of a thing. That's what they need to do is open up the floor. But anyways, that's my long thing. Your turn.
So I heard this a long time ago, back in the 80s, how people were hating on DINKS. And DINK is an acronym that means dual income, no kids. So basically, if you and your spouse or your girlfriend live together and you both work and you have no children that you're responsible for, you have more assets and resources to have a better quality of life because you don't have that responsibility of an expenditure of raising children. And people who are called dinks are being hated on by those that do have kids and say aren't really able to live a good or as good a quality of life because of cost of living and raising kids, and it's just a lot of jealousy going on.
I feel like that's a really weird thing to be upset about.
Yeah.
Like, okay, let's just draw a picture here, because me as a parent, which is still weird for me to say, but I'm still working on making sure that is a thing that I am. Me being, I'm still a child at heart. Me being a parent, it's like, it was my choice. That's kind of it. Done. Ixnay. Like, that's it. It was my choice to be a parent. Like, and these people who don't have dinks, these people who don't have kids, are choosing to not have children, which I actually will say is a good thing for them. There are people who choose to have children and not take care of them. Exactly. So they're making respectful decisions while these people over here are making respectful decisions. ¿Qué pasa? What's going on?
You know, so like anything else, man, I personally, I feel the world is overpopulated. The more people we have, the more resources are getting used, the more carbon emissions that are being put out into the atmosphere.
True.
To heal the planet, I think we need to, well, I mean, I'm not advocating for anything, but, you know, thinning the herd is not a bad idea.
I mean, it's more of like the idea of being able to manage that gray area, I would say, because we have an issue with the gray area where things are in the gray, people who are orphaned, who are in, you know, homes, group homes and stuff like that. People who are in the adoption, who are in the adoption system and aren't able to get adopted. Like this gray area here, the people who have children who don't take care of their children, they all go in the one spot to where we're populated, yes, but like if we were to not necessarily ixnay these scenarios, but have people adopt these children, have people adopt these other kids, and not have children when they're not supposed to, we probably would manage them better.
And you know, honestly, I think these people that are hating or jealous or complaining about people choosing not to have kids are the same
basically
ones
against that.
The same ones that don't want you to have any child, you know.
Yeah, well, and that stuff is being eradicated too.
Like
That's
birth
what I'm saying.
control.
Yeah, that gray area stuff right there when
Yeah.
it comes to our population. is like being radicalized by who? I don't quite know exactly, because there are weird stances within it. It's like they want us to not have like birth control and stuff like that, but then you can't go get an abortion either. So they're like forcing you to have children. Like you go and you be frisky, then you're gonna have children.
Yeah,
that's the deal. Like it's like a whole like, I get Amish mindset, I guess. I don't know. Like if you're gonna choose not to have children, you can't have sex, period. Like that's what it's for. You can't do it for pleasure. It's gonna be the next conversation we're gonna have, because that's literally feels like where it's gonna go. Like we're going in that direction. Like
I think it just really shines a light on the fact that people can't just allow other people to live their own lives, make their own decisions.
Right, exactly. And there are the people who think that they are right and everybody else is wrong. And we already know who those people are.
Yeah.
I get to talk more about them later. But it's that radical Christian mindset people that think they, like, I heard I don't know who it was. I don't pay attention to who people are. They're not that important to me. But there was a conversation about how we need to put more God in the government. Why?
It would be totally contrary to our Constitution.
That's what will make us soft. You have to be hardcore, man. You can't be soft. You can't. Like I'm not saying all Christians are soft, but I'm saying like the God mindset. You have to think, whose God are we talking about? First off, when
that's
you say God.
Why the main reason in our preamble, the first sentence of the Constitution lays out why we have to have separation of church and state.
Which I've heard that just as much as that love thy neighbor.
So, I mean, but you're right, it's like these idiots that think, oh my God, we have to put God back in our Constitution. Well, he was never there in the first place. This country was founded on the freedom from religion and from religious persecution. So get that shit out, that narrative out of your head. Stop permeating the airwaves and disseminating misinformation. God and Jesus, or whatever deity you choose to worship, has nothing to do with the Constitution and was purposely omitted in the first sentence.
There's a difference for me between a Christ believer and a cult follower. There's two different things here. I am a Christ believer. Do I go to church every week? No. Why? Because I learned from Scripture when I was young, going through church, about how to treat my neighbor, how to treat people, how to be godly, and how to give back and love everybody, and just be a basic Christian person. Give to the tithe if you need to. I never did that because I'm always low on money. I'm a person who's a parent. We were just talking about that, but but it's like I don't know. I've lost my train of thought. Fuck. I lost my train of thought. No, I was going.
Great fritter.
It's really good, by the way. Hope you all are enjoying your Friday. But it's that the mindset of being loving to other people and being brotherly, accepting people for who they are. That's Christian-based mindset to me. And then I feel like I got out early enough. I was like, no, I don't need to go to church anymore. I kind of get it. Like, I'm tired of hearing the same thing. I kind of get it. I got out of the cult in time because everybody got drugged that next weekend. It acts like insane people. Like, I've talked about it before, I believe, on the show. There's a story I read about angels coming to purge the earth. Who's the bad guy? The earth is impure. We're going to purge everything. Right. Who's really the bad guy then? Like, think about it for a second in your human stance, but it's just like, that's that kind of mindset. I'm not saying God's bad and all that, but it's like, there's a line. You got to, again, just be Christian-like instead of be...
and I've always heard the definition of Christianity is to be Christ-like. How did Christ act? What did he do? Did he say, go away at the border, there's no room for you to, get out of here?
No.
Did he say, put more guns in the street to kill kids? In school and at church and at the grocery store and at the parks holy. Right? Yeah. Did he say, whatever you
God,
do for the
man.
least of my brethren, you have done for me, as long as he gave you money for it.
Right. And it's just like, I don't understand it. That's not what I've learned. And that's what I remember going to church about. I learned how to give back to my community by helping those who have special needs for a majority of my life. I mean, it's like...
The moral of this lesson, people, mind your own business. Leave the dinks alone. They ain't bothering you, so don't bother them.
Exactly. Like, again, it's your respective choice. You chose to have children. You knew what was coming with. So it's like, be more responsible with your money. Is my response to that. Because I have a PlayStation 5 and I have a child. It's like, you can get the things you need.
Yeah.
Other things like houses are on the other hand.
Anyway, that's a whole
other topic, yeah.
Anyway, it's time for our dumbass of the week.
You or me? Because I feel like I'll talk about the same topic.
Oh, I know.
Back if I throw mine out there.
Okay, I'll go first.
Okay.
All right. So, first time this year. It took 6 months, but finally made it back on top,
Mm-hmm.
Margarine Trader Green is my dumbass of the week. Now, this ignorant...
She's the queen, man.
This ignorant person, after the Parkland shooting, a bunch of high school people got shot and killed, right? She's trolling one of the victims, one of the survivors of the shooting, on camera, berating him about, why are you trying to take away our Second Amendment after he just escaped with his life from that shooting. Or how she's banging on the door of AOC's office. This is before Margarine Trader got elected. She was trolling AOC, banging on her door saying, come out, we're here for you, and all this other kind of crap, right? Biden's State of the Union speech, she starts yelling at him out, he's a liar and you lie, right? Just showing her ass about how uncouth and what lack of respect for decorum she really has, right? Well, there was a bill on the floor, and she's got the gavel in her hand, and she's pounding the gavel, calling for decorum on the House floor because members are chilling. They're talking to each other like we're talking to ourselves, right? And there's 435 members of Congress, so trying to get them to jump to so we can have businesses like herding cats.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So she's banging with the gavel, screaming for decorum, and the House floor breaks out in laughter. Like, you've got to be kidding. You're the one asking for decorum? Margarine Trader, you're a dumbass. You got exactly what was coming to you, and I have a feeling you're going to be on the top of the heap many more times for the rest of this year.
She's the queen, man. She's the queen of dumbass of the week.
Yeah.
That we gotta give her props. Like she
knows how to be a dumbass.
Yeah, she holds the title here. So she's getting some
three different weight classes.
Some sort of praise we gotta give her. So good job. Like anyways, I'm gonna move on to mine. I felt like I was stacking the same conversation going into mine next after the last story, but this one's in regards to Chick-fil-A. Now I haven't had Chick-fil-A in some time because their CEO or executive said some very non-sexist things about, or some
gay marriage.
Thank you, homophobic things about gay marriage, or not agreeing with same-sex marriage. It was way back when it was 2017. Blah blah blah. Excuse me. Anyways, besides the point, it's also like spongy chicken. I mean, the chicken's not great.
Like Rapper's Delight, man. It tastes like wood.
It's not that great. I don't see the hype behind it. It's whatever, spongy ass chicken, you can love it. It's all you need if that's what you want. But the dumbass of the week part of it comes along with the people who don't believe in ethics, I guess, because they're upset that Chick-fil-A now has a head of ethics, a person who's in charge of being ethical, I guess, and they're upset about it, and they're starting to think it's them going woke. No, even good Christian-based corporations can't withstand the pressure of wokeness.
How dare you have equity in the workplace?
How dare you have ethics go on? So, again, I haven't eaten at Chick-fil-A because I don't agree and also don't like the chicken. That's kind of my deal.
Yeah.
But these people don't agree either, and so they're not going to go to Chick-fil-A because Chick-fil-A is being ethical in their departments. So I mean, they're losing money with their ideas, Gene. They got to do something. I mean, worship Satan or not? Like, what do we do? Maybe it's better that way.
Chick-fil-A is just one on a long list of establishments I will never visit again.
It's just so funny that the Christ goers, the holy people, are so upset.
The Pharisees, the hypocrites.
Yes. Oh, they're not the same thing? No. But yeah, they're upset. So sad. I might eat at Chick-fil-A just to laugh at one time at some point. Just be like, haha, I won't find any conservative people here because they have ethics. But maybe not. I don't know. I have to really want a Chick-fil-A sandwich. And that's,
man, I'd have to be like starving.
Well, it's not like that bad, but it's still like, I can get a better chicken sandwich over at Carl's Jr. across the street.
The Church's chicken has better chicken.
Like, yeah, I don't know. No Chick-fil-A for me. I'm sorry.
No.
Anyways, the whole dumbassery part of it is just a whole dumbass situation.
Yeah, it is.
Anyways, that's all the time.
It really is. Well, thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah.
I'm Gene.
I'm Zane.
And we look forward to seeing you next week.
We'll see you next time.